Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer and welcome back to ETS2. We're nearly home. I have to say I'm a little bit on the fence about getting back to Reims and swapping out to a new truck. And let's get let's get a job picked up. We're in Osnabrück in Germany. Let's get a job picked up. We're heading to Reims. I don't know if we can get directly to Reims. And you know what? In a way, I don't even know if we want to. Let me tell you why. That one pays pretty well. And based on the look of this trailer, that's the other thing. I'll tell you about that too as we're driving. We're going to take this one. Pays the most. This one doesn't pay as well, but it's heavier. And heavier is more fun. Now we have to take this one. I'll tell you why after we get going. All right, back in the 164. Right there and right there. Head tracking is still working. I'm getting that all set up. And it's going okay so far. I'm working on things like the sensitivity and that it's not like hyper reactive and bouncing all over, which it's sort of doing right now. And I'm not too keen on that. I want it to be nice and smooth, and it's a little herky-jerky right now. But we'll figure it out. So one of the things that we're sorting out, tell you about the face tracking first, and then we'll talk about the trailers next. One of the things that I'm sorting out is I'm not in a game chair. I'm in a roly-poly office chair. So, something that's sort of critical about face tracking is that it's got to have kind of a baseline. It's got to be consistent. So imagine if it is sort of almost like, whoa, easy lead foot. It's almost like seeing you where you sit, in my case in my office, and then also sort of virtually seeing where you sit when you're centered in the truck, which will be directly behind the wheel, comfortable, head forward, that sort of thing. So what it needs to see is the view in the truck. That's no problem because we can adjust that all we want. The view in my office chair that's something completely different because I move around a little bit and I can't have the view like bouncing around all crazy. And I also, these videos go between 30 minutes and an hour and a half, and I do move during the course of a video, but see, like right now it's dropped off completely. It's not tracking at all. So let's do two things. Since we're stopped anyway, I'm going to do something. I'll still be here talking at you, but I'm going to be right there. It is. So if I go here, so you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get the head tracking to recognize me. Hey, buddy. And then I'm going to zero it and see if that helps at all. Yeah, let's try that. So that's that way, that's that way, that way, and that way. And then we go here and see what these look like. I know you can't see what I'm doing right now, but and then up and down. Okay, cool. Let's hope for the best. Truck sim, minimize that. Right. So basically, if you are in an uncomfortable position when you zero the camera, when you zero the face tracking, then when you move to a comfortable position in the game, it's going to move the camera correspondingly, and it could move it to a place that's all cattywampus to where a truck driver would be sitting. Next thing, The reason I picked this trailer, we want this little gear down here because we can only haul dolly trailers right now. And oh, it'd be funny if it didn't give it to us. So I went with this Ikari trailer because in that same pack are dolly trailers. Let's hope we get some. And I don't think so. Not super optimistic. Oh, there's one. There's a wee little one. It's a different company, but unfortunately, well, it's a different. It's not a Ikari. It's a Schwarzmuller from a different mod, but we're gonna have to take it because that's all we can haul. Still pays the same though, and it's heavier. Instead of 9 tons, it's 19 tons. Okay, cool. So yeah, that is the. I don't want to call it the reality. That's a little too heavy-handed. Right. I don't want to call it the reality of dolly trailers and BDF trailers, but it's part of it is that because we no longer have a fifth wheel, we can't haul regular trailers or regular articulated trailers. We can only haul dolly trailers. So sometimes in the market it will. See, I can't turn around all the way backwards, so we got to do this with mirrors. Oh yeah. Sometimes in the market it will show you. Nope. Can't see how far away I am. There's my box. And I go over here, right like this. Love to make my life difficult. I actually do. Like, it sounds like I'm being sarcastic when I say that. Holy smokes, I got it. Okay. Cool. It sounds like I'm being sarcastic when I say that, but I actually do like to make my life difficult. And I think... Oh. Okay. Uh-huh. Check my style. I forgot something. Let's do something else while we're here. We're going to go in here. This is a setting from before I had the face tracking. I had the steering camera rotation turned on. And we're going to turn that off. We're going to turn the physical camera movement down a little bit, see if we can't get out in front of some of that bouncing. Okay, cool. Now how are we doing? We got the left, we got the right, up, down. Lovely. And I'm looking out for you. Let's take a look at this truck first. I just remembered we haven't done that like we normally do. Okay, that looks pretty ghetto, but so it goes. Right, so here's what's going on. I had to sleep twice. That's why we have so much money, because my drivers have been drivering and making that cash. Right? Right? If you can see, oh boy, you can see I'm not square to this driveway. I'm pointed a little bit to the left, and as a result, I have to turn my head pretty far to the right. So, continuing to adjust settings. This is fun though. It is intuitive. It is definitely intuitive. But what is not intuitive about it is I haven't done it really in the game. So I'm unlearning how to control my view with the joystick. I'm so used to that, like so conditioned to it because I've been doing it for so long. I'm going for it. Going for it in fourth gear. Boy, that was poorly planned. I've been moving the view with the joystick for so long with the right thumbstick, you know what I mean, that even though turning your head is the most natural thing in the world, I haven't been doing it enough in game that I'm like trained. I'm trained badly. I'm trained to do the wrong thing, and now I'm relearning how to move my view by moving my head. Extremely intuitive, just not used to it. Uh-huh. Okay. And as a result, it's making me drive kind of like a goober, but we'll get it sorted. Right. Okay. And lift axle is up, lift axle is down, lift axle is down. Right. So we're in Osnabrück, and we're headed to where? Zurich, I think, was what we decided on. And currently we can only run dolly trailers, so it is, I've made this mistake enough times, it's important in the market. Like I said, if you can see in the sort of the preview, if you can see it's a dolly trailer, then you're good to go. But there are other trailers that I've found just kind of historically, if you can see a certain kind of trailer in the preview, you know that that trailer is associated with a pack that normally, although of course this time it didn't, but normally that trailer is associated with a trailer pack that would have the dolly trailers in it, and you're good to go. But if you get to the job and there are no dolly trailers, we don't have a fifth wheel, we can't take anything but dolly trailers. So in that case, you have to drive to another dispatch and pick up a different load, or try to. So that's one thing. What else? Oh, I slept twice. My drivers made money, so I did want to do a daylight video. I mean, I guess technically I sort of always want to do daylight videos, even though I love driving at night. I know the nighttime videos, when I review them, you really can't see anything. And it's awesome that you can like hear me talking and, you know, being super awesome and so forth. But I know people want a little bit more than that. They want to actually like see what I'm doing, or what the driver's doing, or whatever. So set it up to get a good daylight video, and we should. It's noon. We may 10 hours. We may finish like the tippy tail end of this. Yeah, I said tippy tail. I said it. We may finish the tippy tail end of this in darkness, but we'll see when we get there. Now the other thing is we're running, you remember a while back we were running Grimes Frosty Mod, and that's what we ran when we came into Scandinavia from Iceland. And then we had the frosty physics, and the roads were slippery, and it was a nightmare. Yeah. And then we backed off from there when we got down into the Baltics. We switched to the Grimes Mild Winter Mod, and that was the one that had this sort of late winter look to it, early spring. The trees were all dead, and the days were short, but there was no snow. Well, now we're on Grimes. It's the, oh, I forget this every time. In Germany, they have these like separated lanes, and if you don't get over before you get to the interchange, then you're going to the next one. But I forget, like I just did, you saw that very sloppy move. I forget, and I end up on the wrong side of the barricade, and then I have to go to the next exit, and it's a huge nightmare and makes for a terrible video, and I get very frustrated. So that's, as far as I know, that's unique to Germany, and I should remember better when we're in Germany to expect that. So what the hell was I talking about? What's his name again? Oh, right, we're running the Grimes Spring Mod. There was just an update to it, so I went ahead and downloaded that. Changes the textures, changes some things around. It gives a nice look, I think, but it doesn't affect the day length, or if it does, it's minimal, so hopefully we'll get some good daylight. And also there's an update if you run the Physics Mod by freaking 64, and yeah. If you run the Physics Mod by freaking 64, there's an update for that. And I also run all the drivetrain revision mods. I believe those just all updated. And then I've got a bunch of trailer packs. And Yeah, that's, you know, if you're living the mod life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you get like north of a certain number of mods, what are you doing? There you go, buddy. If you get north of a certain number of mods, it I'm going to sound completely mental when I say this, but it can take like hours a day. A lot of them you have to check manually. Some of them update in the Steam Workshop, so you're good to go. But then there's other ones that if you downloaded it from, you know, someplace else, you just have to monitor and do it manually. And this copy of Euro Truck Simulator is not through Steam, so I have to do all that manually. And the same with Farm Simulator, Farming Simulator. I say Farm Simulator, you know what I mean. Farm Simulator 2017, but technically it's Farming Simulator 2017. What's this guy doing? Slow poke. So I've got, at the moment, I have, I believe, 600 mods for Farming Simulator. And, you know, I do and I don't use all of them. I know I've had some people say that is ridiculous. You can't possibly need 600 mods. Well, I mean, you really don't need any mods at all. You don't need any video games at all. This is all elective. We just do this because we want to. But I don't run them all at the same time, and there are a lot of them that you can't run at the same time. So basically I've got maybe 10 maps that I use, and that's a whole nother topic of conversation. Of the hundreds of maps that have been released, there's like 10 that, just for me, it's completely subjective. You know, you get down however you want, but just for me, there's about 10 maps that like make the grade. And I feel like as map making has really sort of exploded for FS17, that, you know, I feel like there's some maps that kind of set the standard, and if it's not as good as those, and it can be any kind of map, it can be a big map, a little map, British map, German map, Polish map, whatever. It's not the type of map that it is. It's just the quality of it. I feel like if the map doesn't hit that level of quality that we expect from, you know, or for me anyway, from certain map makers, then that to me is not a map that I'll keep and use. It'll just bug me every time I fire it up because I'll see flaws and problems. Now some of them I can fix myself in the Giants editor, some of them I cannot. So I just need to, you know, kind of deal with it. But I can't, so I get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Right. That was not the best timing. We sort of made that move before we even looked. I know. I'm getting used to it. And that's, well, I got like three threads, 3 topics going at the same time now. So no, I can't use all those mods at the same time. I have about a dozen maps, 10 maps, give or take. And I also have maybe 12 or 15 mods that I use consistently on every single map that I play. So I've got, like, more realistic I use on every single map. Seasons I use. I won't play a map unless it's seasons. Gearbox I use on every map. Like the dirt control add-on, drive control I use, handbrake, oil change, AdBlue, I use those on every single map that I play. So there's maybe 15 mods, 15 or 20. And then from there, I sort of limit myself. So if I'm playing like a German map, I'll typically have like German tractors or whatever. Or if I'm playing a British map, I'll have a lot of British or UK tippers. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And my sort of methodology to that is, I've told you this before. Where I grew up in Pennsylvania, there's an equipment dealer, an implement dealer in the town or in the county, and yeah, there are farms in that county running equipment other than what is sold at the implement dealer. But for the most part, you know, at least not in my experience, you don't see maps that farms. In real life, in my experience, you don't see farms that have like 100 different kinds of equipment. Wow, I keep speeding here. I don't know why we're still in a 60. Feels like it shouldn't be a 60, but I'll get it slowed down. And one reason is the spares and the mechanic. You know, if you've got, say, all New Holland equipment, and there's a New Holland dealer in your town or close by, the mechanics there are going to be all trained up on New Holland equipment. They're going to have parts. They're going to have access to technical bulletins and recall information. You get what I'm saying? So you can have, a farm can have information. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Am I tripping out? Am I high right now? I don't think so. A farm could have equipment from a lot of different places. There's no reason it couldn't, but there are a lot of reasons why I guess it shouldn't. So I try to sort of replicate that in real life with how I set up a map in Farm Sim, and for that reason I may have 100 equipment mods, but they're all going to be sort of in the same families. Like I might have the Coon pack, and then I try to run a lot of Coon equipment, and I've got like a bunch of Massey Ferguson equipment, or however it works out. And that's how you end up with 600 mods. But those are all being updated. And you know, the majority of mods on Farming Simulator, you know, the majority of mods do not come through the mod hub, although the ones that do come through the mod hub are going to be the highest quality and typically best maintained. And it'll give you a little update in there, although it doesn't do it automatically like the Steam Workshop, which is, I've always found that to be a little frustrating. But anyway, so 600, yeah, that's a handful to keep out in front of. Fortunately for Eurotruck, it's not quite as bad. Now on the ATS side, I do own that through Steam, so the workshop, you know, the mods do update automatically. Problem is there just aren't that many mods for American Truck Sim. It's one of the reasons that I don't play it. I like the game. Technically, it should be no different than Eurotruck, right? And yet, it just doesn't do it for me. I try to like it. I want to like it, but I just can't get there. It's the darndest thing. So that's the second thing. And what was it? Oh yeah, and this sort of ties in with the first two. We are a few months out from Farm Simulator 19, and it's strange for me to think back to Farm Simulator 15, when Farm Simulator 17 came out and everybody was on 15. I remember the first couple weeks, people were like, this is dumb. There was one school that was saying it's too different, they've made too many changes, I don't like it. And there was another school that was like, this is exactly the same, there's no reason to get this. But it seemed like initially a lot of people really didn't like it. And of course for the first month or so there's no mods at all. And then there was this whole slew of bad mods where people tried to convert something from 15 to 17 really without doing anything. They just made a change in the mod desk and called it good, but none of them worked. They were all busted. So it took a minute, and even after I had bought FS17, I still kept playing FS15 for maybe, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then it was time to go. And I remember, you know, I essentially just stopped playing Farm Simulator 15 and set cruise control. I cannot control my speed today. Oh, and of course we'll do it right when we get to the twisty part. That's no good. So I kept it. I kept Farm Simulator 15 and I kept all my mods, and there was a part of me that was like, man, how many hours, how many days have I spent accumulating these mods? I can't just delete them all. But then I did. Eventually I just did. I just deleted the folder, and I never played FS15 again, and really never regretted that. But I know it's coming up to the same thing we're going to be doing, or I'm going to be doing the same thing with Farm Simulator 17. I'm just going to quit playing it at some point after 19 gets stabilized. And then at a certain point I'll look at this folder of, you know, 30 gig worth of mods and maps and say, man, I can't have that tying up my hard drive. Time to go, and I'll just get rid of it. And what's weird is thinking about, stand by, that top to bottom is starting to bug me. Pitch up, pitch down. Let's bring this down a little bit. I don't think we need to look up and down that far. We're also going to slow it down a little bit. Right about now, I'd like to slow it down a little bit with a song from our first album. Is that better? Okay. Says okay. Save that. Minimize. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that seems a little less twitchy. So I know I'm going to be doing that soon with FS17, and I'm already there's already a part of me that's thinking, man, I've got way more hours into Farm Simulator 17 mods than Farm Simulator 15 mods, because I've played the game. I only played Farm Sim 15 for about 6 months before 17 came out, whereas 17 I'll have the full 2-year product life cycle under my belt. So, man, I don't know what is wrong with me today. I swear I'm not high, as far as you can prove. Ooh, this is the one with the airport. Yeah, we go right. Ah. Jeez. We go right past the airport, I think. I don't know if we do on this road, but there's a huge airport up here. Yeah, I think we do. Okay, curious what it does to my frame rate. We're at a whopping 35 FPS right now, so let's see what happens when we get close to this airport. It's pretty, but it's big. Many poly. Right. So yeah, I'm already sort of in my mind. I mean, I'm not. It's not like we're taking our buddies' ashes out to the Pacific Ocean and scattering them off Monterey or something. It's nothing that dramatic, but it's just weird. It's time and it's something that you did. It's part of your life. Gaming is part of my life. I have no problem admitting that. And if you're here watching me play a video game, then it's not like you're going to be giving me crap for that. Like, oh, you're dumb. You play video games. Well, yeah. Well, you watch me play them, fool. Sorry, we had to have that little fight right there, but there you go. Oh, God. Oh, why would he do that? Why would he do that to me? So yeah, you get what I'm saying. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you get anything I'm saying. Even sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. Struggle is real. So what else is going on? Farm Sim. I need to find a third game. I had 3 titles going before. I had Cattle and Crops going. And Cattle and Crops was... I don't have any traffic on my channel right now. I'm not even pretending that I do. So when I say something like, oh, it was my most popular title, I don't mean like millions of views or anything. I mean like dozens of views. But it was dozens of views, that's something for me. And that was my most popular title, and I haven't been able to continue playing it because of what happened with the incident with the AI. I just couldn't finish one of the tutorial missions, and because I couldn't finish it, I couldn't progress with the game. So it's on hiatus right now. And I don't know what to replace it with. I've got a couple racing sims. I love racing sims, but I've made half a dozen test videos, and I can't see anybody watching that. I mean, maybe somebody would. It sort of amazes me that anybody would watch anything that I would do, and that's not a self-esteem thing. I just mean, I don't feel like the quality is there yet, and there's so much other content on the internet. Like, Who's going to find my video and watch it? So when I say I don't think anybody would watch me race, I guess in a way I don't think anybody would watch me truck either, but you know, here we are all trucking together. So racing, I don't know. I'm again, this guy. Come on, buddy. So I don't know. Racing might be where it's at. I've thought about pure farming, but the problem with that is then I would have 3 farming sims, and that's one too many. Because really, at the moment, Farm Simulator 2017 is plenty for me. I have it set up the way I want it. It's working the way I want it. I love it. I love it. I don't need anything other than Farm Sim, but I think Cadillac Crops has potential. And I love the physics and the terrain deformation. It's just not there yet as a game. But other than that, I'm all over it. Hang on, I gotta itch my eye. And it's the other thing about face tracking and eye tracking is I'm like terrified to do anything. I don't want to reach for anything on my desk or like scratch my knee, because then the camera goes all wonky boo boo. I gotta pass this fool. So I don't necessarily want a third farm sim when technically the one that I have, my favorite one, is plenty, and then I have another one beyond that that isn't done yet, but when it is done, I feel like that'll be awesome. And you know, I don't need a third one. I don't have anything good or bad to say about pure farming. I haven't played it, so I can't have my own opinion. I can only talk about what I've seen other people doing with it. I have no opinion about it at the moment. I haven't played it. I just know I don't need a third farm sim. I have 2 flight sims, 2 race sims, 2 truck sims. You know, it seems to go like that. I feel like, as goofy as this sounds, well, like half the things I say are goofy, so you know how it is. Is it? I feel like my camera is seeing me breathe. Sigh. Is that? I gotta keep working on the sensitivity. I think I need a bigger dead zone. Me and Johnny Smith need a bigger dead zone. Right. So yeah, I'm not gonna get a third farm sim. I wouldn't get a third truck sim. Like if they released a third truck sim right now, or I guess there are other truck sims available. You know what I mean? If like a brand new badass trucking simulator hit the market, I don't know that I'd go buy it. I already have 2, and of those 2, I really only play 1. What do I need a third one for? So, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But I do want a third title. The race sims, I can't imagine anybody watching me play those. And then the flight sims are both better and worse. They are slightly more interesting, which is better, but they are so effing hard. And I don't almost cuss lightly. For me to almost use a dirty word, I gotta be one huffy person. Like, karate kick my stuffed animals huffy. Oh dear, what's going on here? Really? Jeezy Pete's, why would they do that? Oh, AI. How I love you, AI. How I love your mood swings and your unpredictable behavior. I think you're trying to kill me. This is certainly taking a turn. Come on, man. There we go. Good grief. But no damage, no tickets. That's the goal. Always the goal. So, Flight Sim. I have 2. I have Rise of Flight United, and I have the new Sturmovik Cliffs of Dover Blitz. And there's an arcade mode for both. But the thing is, I can't play arcade mode. I have like a block somewhere in my personality, I just make everything difficult for myself. I have to. And then after I make it difficult, I have to be good at it. And I mean, I've seen like racing sims. When I'm looking around, like, trying to figure stuff out in Project Cars, I found videos online, and like you can see the lap times that these people are posting, and I have to assume that they have cheats and assists off. I mean, some of them say and show that they have cheats and assists off. Others, I just assume that they do. They're in leagues, you know, they're not quite, I wouldn't say they're like professional virtual racers, but they are in racing leagues, and you can see videos of them multiplayer, and they are absolutely, I know the wipers are on, my hands are full. They are absolutely next level at sim racing. And I'll see them like turn laps in a certain car on a certain track, and I have Project Cars 2, and I go fire up that car on that track, and I'm like 4 or 5 seconds off, and I think, like, of all the people that I personally know, you know, you do the thing where you like hang out with your buddies and you know, drink a beer and you trade the controller back and forth, and you just try to run hot laps because that's the best way to multiplayer when you're like at your buddy's house and he's just got a big ass widescreen TV. You know, it's not, I don't know anybody who has multiple gaming rigs set up like in their home. And you can play multiplayer when you're all in different places, but that's not the same as like hanging out, you know, like hanging out with your buddies, and you know, you get the grill going and you're making some food and you're drinking a beer, and you know, your girlfriend's there and their girlfriend's there and everybody's hanging out and having a good time, right? You know what I'm talking about? Well, multiplayer, you can't do that if you're going to multiplayer race when you're home by yourself in your game chair. So the next best thing, everybody knows this, when you go to your buddy's house, you all sit on the couch or wherever, and you just run, like, I don't know, everybody does it differently, but the way we do it is you get to run 2 laps. And then you hand the controller to the next person, and whatever the best time is, like everybody knows who ran the best time, you just keep trying to beat everybody's time. Or I guess it's the same time. You know what I'm talking about. This isn't complicated what I'm describing. You know what I'm saying. Well, when I do that with my friends, I consistently run the best lap times on whatever race sim we're on. And I have to say the reason for that is probably because I just spend more time sim racing than any of my friends. And that's, you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm better at it than anybody that I like personally, physically know in the real world, but then when I see the times that people are running in sim racing leagues, I am like not even in the same category. I wouldn't even try to run with them. So what I'm saying is, if that's the kind of speed that people want to see to watch a video, yeah, I can't do that. I'm not even close to that. So racing, I think, is out, at least for the moment. And then flight sim is even worse, because in a way it is, like I said, more exciting, but it's so difficult. And you can arcade it, you can kind of sandbag it. Sandbox. You can sandbox it, but that's no fun. Nobody wants to see that. Like, nobody wants to see me, you know, just doing like bombing runs with invincibility turned on. Who cares? That's not fun. That's not interesting. So that's out. And then the other thing is, I mean, you can do missions, but then, like, where do I start? Do I start in the air? That's not really very immersive. But then the alternative is you start from the airport. So something like Blitz, right? Play as Germany. We start at the airport in Germany. We take off and we fly across the English Channel, and it takes like 40 minutes to get to London. Like, who wants to watch somebody just fly for 40 minutes? I can get into time lapses and stuff, and that's just not my jam. So I don't know. I feel like at the moment, truck sim, Euro Truck Sim specifically, because ATS, but Euro Truck Sim and Farm Sim is where it's at the moment, and I just can't find a third title. I told you I tried CSX Heavy Haul. Oh, Jesus. I saw people do that game when it came out, like make videos of that game when it came out. But there are scenarios that are 120 minutes long, and probably 100 minutes of it is just driving, like just driving a train. And if you have never driven a train, it's mostly just like looking out the front window at the scenery going by, and you're not doing anything. You don't need to like adjust any controls or do anything. It's a great game. Graphics are amazing. They've really optimized it this last patch. It runs a lot faster. Or I guess I can set my graphics a lot higher and still get good FPS since they optimized it. It was, when the game was released, it was a notorious FPS killer. But I cannot see making compelling gameplay of that. I can't. I mean, maybe somebody can, and good for you. And I'm not being an ass when I say that. That is like genuine love and support. Good for you, man, because it's a cool game. But it's it makes Euro Truck Simulator by comparison seem incredibly exciting. If that'll give you an example. And I know a lot of people look at this game and they're like, I'd go insane if I had to do it. What are you doing? You're just driving a truck in the rain. What kind of game is that? Where are the zombies? No zombies, man. None. Just driving a truck. Driving a truck and talking to you good people. Right. Passing into Switzerland. I love Switzerland. I lived in Geneva for a little while, and it's an amazing place. I love it. There are two problems. One is everything is unbelievably expensive. Holy Jesus. It's not as bad as Scandinavia, but wow, is it expensive. And then the second problem is, I was exploring citizenship. I'm a regular U.S. American, but I'd live in Switzerland. I'd move to Switzerland. So I guess the two things that I was exploring, one was permanent long-term residence, and the other was citizenship. And I spoke to an immigration attorney, and he said, long-term citizenship is going to be a problem, green card and everything, because essentially what you would need to demonstrate is, if you were going to be working for somebody, they would need to demonstrate that they could not find your skill set. Try not to hook the trailer. They would need to demonstrate that they could not find your skill set. I know, wiper. As soon as we get to the bottom of the ramp, I'll turn them off. They could not find your skill set anywhere in the EU. They, like, to hire somebody from outside the EU, an employer has to sort of prove that they have to look outside the EU labor market to fill that position. Good luck there. I'm special. I ain't that special. And I work in advertising and marketing and design and layout, so there's plenty of people that can do that. Nothing unique about what I do. And then the second thing, I was like, well, what about becoming a citizen? And he was like, what about it, man? Good luck. To become a citizen of Switzerland, and this is true for most EU countries, but more so for Switzerland, you have to sort of explain what it is you're going to do for the country that makes it worth us letting you, become a Swiss citizen. Like, what are you going to do for us? And I was joking with the guy, and I said, well, I could just give him a bunch of money. And he laughed out loud. He's like, man, everybody has money. They assume that coming in. Like, if you want to live in Switzerland, they just assume that you have money. So it's not like if you think you're just going to throw a big bribe at the Swiss immigration authorities and they'll be like, oh God, money. Never seen money before. Good luck, man. It's Switzerland. It's like the world's bank. Everybody has their money there. So that's a non-starter as well. And then I asked him if I could apply for like political asylum, and he was like, "Yeah, we're done here. It's time to go. Goodbye." Oh, thank you, Swiss attorney. He was, and of course he was saying all that with the lovely Schweizerdeutsch accent, Schweizerdeutsch accented English, and man, you think Germans are precise with their language, right? 3 kilometers. I think we made it. Hopefully we don't fall asleep. Ah! Uh-oh. Oh, God. Ah! Okay. I reached up to scratch my nose, and my eye tracking. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, God. Oh, game. No damage. Huh? No damage. So yeah, anyway, great story, Will. That's a great story. That's a great story. That's the story of me not becoming a Swiss citizen. Thanks, Will. Anytime. My nose is still itchy, and I can't do anything about it after what just happened there. And no, I cannot believe we didn't take any damage. And this is when I would take it. At the time we were what, 3 kilometers from the yard? Of course that's when I take damage. Of course. Game. Stupid game. That's nice. Alright. That's a ticket. I won't deny that's a ticket, but that's a different kind of ticket. That's the ticket I take for you. I'd pull over and sleep. I would, but I wanted to get this job done in daylight. For you. I did it for you. You know, every time I say this, I'm like, you know, the developers really should whatever. A diddly-do. You know, here's my plan. You developers need to diddly-dee. But I was just thinking they need to, it doesn't have to be the developers. A mod maker could do it. Maybe. Shoot. I could do it, maybe. Get out my little code writing hat. I have one of those. A way that you could dial to a specific time. You know, make it a specific time of day so you could, right? So essentially you would sleep to a certain time. So you would wake up at a certain time so you could drive at a certain time. You see what I'm saying? And I think, if I were me, I think what I would do, I think what I would do to keep it fair would be maybe some kind of a bank, right? So you can't just do it any old time. You have to, like, time it. Now, I'm going to do 2 things. First, I'm going to go out here and look. That is not a dolly trailer. So I believe if I flip this thing around, I can go back in cab for this. I believe if I flip this thing around, I might just be able to back it in there. How do we feel about that? I feel pretty good about it. I swear to God, if I doze off while I'm backing this thing up and back into the fence or something, oh, I'm coming out of the booth. Right. I can't see jack. All right. Trying to get the trailer to poke out. Yeah, there it is. And there go the brakes. Oh, game. Try not to scrape the wall. I don't know if there's like crazy short wheelbase or what's going on back there. Wrong dialogue box. I thought it was the... All of the beeping right now. Jesus. Man, I don't even know. I got... Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, I'm almost in. Hang on, honey. Give me just a second here. I'm going to pack it in. Oh. Where's the wine? We're just going to pretend that never happened. That didn't happen. We're going to edit that out. Nobody is ever going to see that, and we're never going to talk about it. Not you, not me. Nobody is ever going to describe what just happened. Could be the worst thing I've ever done. Well, I mean, in Euro Truck Simulator, I've done way worse things in real life. We'll just gloss over that for now. Super. How'd we do? Oh, did we get a promotion? Fantastic, we did. Right, I'll save that. I'll assign that skill point next episode. Folks, thank you so much for stopping by to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Euro Truck Simulator, and we will see you next time. Take care now.